Welcome back, everybody. The first meeting of the season between the LA Kings and the New York Islanders. John Tavares, he's had back-to-back two-point nights. Meanwhile, Frans Nielsen, red hot of late, 4 points in those last 3 games. He has 9 goals, 12 assists in 19 games. And then for the LA Kings, Mike Richards, he is the heart and soul of this team. He has points in 5 straight games with 3 goals and 6 assists. So those are some of the players to look for tonight. Closed captioning for tonight's broadcast is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know.
All right, Peter, thank you very much. Islanders and Kings set to begin. Our goaltending matchup is presented by Sports Yapper 3.0. You know, it's more fun to watch the game with Sports Yapper, so get the free app now. Ben Scrivens could not unseat James Reimer in Toronto, and then, of course, they wound up trading for Jonathan Bernier up there. Scrivens came back the other way, and Kevin Poulin getting an opportunity now. There will be no announcement that he has been anointed the #1 goaltender, but now 3 starts in a row. He's got a chance, an opportunity anyway, to perhaps make it an unofficial designation as we move along.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, there's a message being sent there to Kevin Poulin, not to Nabokov. Jack Capuano was very, very adamant this morning when he talked about Nabokov's performance last year, and this in no way says, Poulin, you got the range, you can run with it without being unopposed. So Nabokov could be back, but no doubt about it. This is Poulin's chance.
Andrei Kopitar, number 11. Dustin Brown, number 23. Justin Williams, number 14. Up front for the Kings. Williams throws one to Poulin that he swats away. And Nielsen for the Islanders with Bouchard and Bailey up front sends one in. Nielsen back to the boards. Takes the hit from Drew Doughty, number 8. And it's Kopitar steering it to Brown at the far side. McDonald and Hamonic, the Islander defense pair. And they'll see a lot of that line, I would imagine, throughout the course of this game.
Well, Drew Doughty, one of the best defensemen in the entire National Hockey League. We'll see him a lot, Howie. Seems like he's on the ice every second shift. Certainly an Olympic hopeful for the Canadian team.
McDonald chased by Mike Richards, number 10, and then Poulin steers that one aside. Number 73 is Tyler Toffoli. Enough points in 4 straight games, backhanding one to the front of the net, and that's knocked away.
American League Rookie of the Year last year. Some real skill with that young lad.
Islanders have the Tavares line on. Here's Oposo trying to feed back towards Hickey. That was broken up and hit a skate. And back in come the Kings, and a high riser by Dwight King is held shoulder high by Poulin.
Well, King, one thing about the LA Kings is Daryl Sutter type team. They're very big, they're very aggressive, they're physical. Talking about playing the Western Conference, we have the Kings, San Jose, and the Sharks, and the Ducks. All big, strong hockey clubs.
You played with or against all of the Sutters. Which one was the toughest to play against?
Oh, no, absolutely no doubt about it. Brian Sutter, when he played with St. Louis, he had a mean streak to him. Played very, very hard, typical Sutter style, going to the net. But yeah, he was the toughest.
Matt Fratton, number 21, threw one through the goal mouth. And it's played back in center by Alec Martinez on defense, number 27 for the Kings, who gives Grabner a shove. Colin McDonald checked along the boards by Colin Fraser, number 24, but now at center, behind the play, Jordan Nolan. That's former Islander coach Ted Nolan's son, getting into it with Matt Carkner. Carkner throwing a couple of lefts. And Nolan trying to get loose. This is the second game Nolan has played against the Islanders, and he looked awfully good in the first one. Here, though, he spun around and dumped by Carkner. And the crowd saluting Matt Carkner for what undoubtedly will be 5 minutes that he'll spend in the penalty box.
Well, it comes by that
going in as well.
Comes by that, honestly. Good DNA. His father, Ted, was a tough hombre. There's a kind of a late hit by Nolan on Carkner. They just sort of slash at each other. And now there's the conversation, and away they go at it. But, you know, the end of this fight, good punches thrown by both of these guys. You know, lefts from Nolan and also lefts from Carkner. You have to know as a fighter what each guy likes to throw. Some guys are really good. They can throw lefties and righties, but more often than not, they have a favorite punch, Howie. So you've got to know that before it starts. Nolan's smiling. He enjoys that part of it, as his dad did. His dad now coaching the Buffalo Sabres.
How would you know about fighting? Did you ever have a fight in the NHL? No way, right?
Do I look stupid, Harry?
Well, you're giving this primer, and I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute. Maybe Butchie's got a past we don't know about. We both love boxer or something back in Winnipeg.
Clark Gillies and Bobby Nystrom are good friends of mine. They talk to me all the times about fighting.
Well, here are the Kings. Kopitar leading the charge into the Islanders zone. Throws one back to Doughty, and that hit the leg of Matt Martin, who knows a thing or two about those kinds of scraps. Williams to Kopitar, working against McDonald. Big Anze Kopitar feeds the blue line, and a wrist shot attempted by Dustin Brown was blocked. Stays in the Islanders zone, though. Hamonic tried to control that bouncing puck and finally sends it all the way down, and this will undoubtedly go for an icing, and they'll bring it back into the Islanders
That was
zone.
a good block by Clutterbuck and almost resulted in a breakaway as that puck went straight up in the air. Shot by Dustin Brown. Clutterbuck getting in the way of the shooting lane. Watch Clutterbuck as he goes out to the point, gets a stick out in front. Now he's going to block it. See that crazy carom. Clutterbuck looking for the breakaways. He heads up the ice and says, hey, boys, get it up to me. I'm all alone.
Kings control the draw. Martinez a drive, and that's steered out of play by Poulin.
Well, the Kings lost the other night in Buffalo in a shootout, but the Kings really outplayed the Sabres. They had some 40 shots, and Sabres only had about 15, so there was a lot of possession time for the LA Kings, but Ryan Miller, as we've seen on a number of occasions, was sensational.
That ended the Darcy Regier era, along, of course, with the coach Ron Ralston, a much shorter tenure in Buffalo.
Not very often you get fired when you win a game.
Yeah.
Usually when you're on a bit of a losing streak, you get embarrassed.
Foley gave it up behind the net with Josh Bailey in there, along with Bouchard for the Islanders. And once year, Mark Bouchard's game has really come around. You were talking to him just before the game.
Yeah, and he just said, you know, he's feeling more comfortable and skating a little bit better and playing with a little bit more confidence, and that's good news for the Islanders. This is a line I really feel is going to have to break out. Good time to do it tonight, but they need a lot more offense production from that line. It can't be just about John Tavares, which over the last little while, Howie, as you know, that's what it's been.
Bailey steered it in. Up come the Kings. Slava Voinov, number 26, left it at the Islander blue line, and it's brought back along and played by Lewis, number 22, but Aaron Ness got it from him, and then it's fired back in by Voinov.
Talking to John Tavares about playing with Brock Nelson, said he's really surprised at just how sharp he is around with the puck and his hockey sense, and strong in the corners, and was really impressed and had a lot of fun playing with him. Said it was a shame that Vanek got hurt because he was just starting to get comfortable playing with him. John's a pretty good player, Howie, so I think he could probably play with anybody.
That's been established already. Even Brock Nelson is finding out, hey, there's some fun to be had up on that first line.
Oh, yeah. I asked him, I said, you must have really enjoyed yourself. He said, absolutely. He said, you know, he is so smart. He said, you've got to get into the holes because John just finds a way to get it to you. He has such great anticipation, and he has such a drive to get the puck and then get it to somebody. So it was really a lot of fun for him to play with John Tavares.
Fraser won the draw. Jake Muzzin, number 6. Works it back to the near side, being pinned by Aaron Ness. King goes after Hamonic. Nice headman feed to Tavares, but the Kings got back quickly. Now it's a Poso, turned around and dumped by Fratton. And snapped off the boards by King. Icing's been waved off, so Donovan's going to have to step on it, because he's got company from Fraser.
Yeah, real nice reverse. That's, you know, change of direction. Your defenseman slides off for you. So real good job by Donovan and McDonald on the reverse. Good exit for the Islanders.
And once again, an icing, 4:41 into the first period.
Well, Kyle Oposo keeping those feet moving, a little bit off balance and just tries to get out of the way. I'm not sure anybody really tripped him, but just good second and third effort by Kyle Oposo. Got to keep your head up. Doughty will certainly hit you. Wonderful, skilled offensive guy, but very strong physically in his own zone.
Peter Regan wins a draw from Kopitar. And it's Donovan for New York.
Well, that's an area, Highly, that the Islanders have to get better at, is face-offs. We've watched them lose a number of them over the last 10 games or so.
Now Regan sending it back into his own end. Eric Hornet sent out a bunch of statistics today about faceoffs and just how the Islanders have struggled there. All the key centermen are below 50% on the draws.
Yeah, and I mean, it's aside from the obvious that you lose a draw in your own zone, the opposition has a chance to score, but it's all about puck possession. You lose the faceoff, they have the puck.
Williams to Kopitar. That's blocked and then overskated by Williams, and the Islanders counter. But Clutterbuck gave it away, and Williams brings it right back in. Justin Williams snaps one off the blocker of Poulin. He fought that one off, and Martin fires it all the way down. Icing's been waved off. Cizikas has a step on Regier. They bump. Cizikas finds Martin at the near side, but he lost the handle. And up comes Toffoli. On to Richards, back for Toffoli. Good play getting back by Martin. He got a stick in the way of that pass, but King recovers the puck, sets up Voinov, who hit King with his attempt at the net. Toffoli to King, back out in front. Richards didn't reach it. Richards' stick reached Clutterbuck's face, though, and that's what the fans are upset about. And now Poulin holds on, and there'll be a face-off in the Islanders' zone. 6:03 gone, opening period. John Tavares having to do the scoring around here. Well, he's got Frans Nielsen, the second-line center, and Tavares' line mate, Kyle Okposo, all 20 or more points, and no other team can say that they've got 3 of those.
Yeah, not only that, Howie, they're really in the top 10 in the National Hockey League scoring race, and with a good night by any one of these 3 guys, and they could be atop of that leaderboard, and that would be something special. It's been a long time since an Islander led the scoring parade.
It's been a breakout for Nielsen, and it's been very encouraging to see Okposo pick up where he left off last year in terms of the offense. Now Grabner, and boy, when the Islanders like to get Grabner going, sends it in.
Boy, would he like to get going. Nobody likes to sit on a long scoring route.
McDonald looks for Grabner down low. And that'll be held by Scrivens, and it's not as though Grabner has lacked chances. He is into this Movember thing, though, as you can see, with the new hirsute look.
I'd be shaving it off. If I wasn't scoring for 5 or 6 games, that would come up because I'd want to change my luck. Yeah, it's for a great cause, but also have to score goals is just as important. And, Michael, when he's really going well, yes, he gets those breakaways, Howie, but he's got to get himself going towards the net. Look for those rebounds. Coaches talk about those dirty, greasy goals, and Michael gets them when he's really attacking the net.
Now Hamonic swings it in behind the LA goal, stopped there by Scrivens. 13:18 to go in the opening period. Kings have 7 of the first 9 shots. Kopitar works against Hamonic. They are going to see plenty of each other in this game. Back at the line, Regier with a redirection by Brown, who then fanned on the rebound. And Bailey pitches it out, and then it rolls away from Bouchard. It looked like Bouchard just fanned, but that puck was rolling in the opposite direction.
Yeah, the Islanders have to get some shots towards Scriven. Howie, if you remember last time when he played with Toronto, lots of rebounds from this guy. Kicks that puck right out into the middle, didn't handle the puck all that well. So the Islanders need to get some pucks going towards the net.
Well, here's Richards trying to do just that for the Kings, holding up as they complete a change. Now to Doughty, who swings it in behind the net. King put it off of Hamonic's skate. Keeps some pressure on Hamonic, and then Tavares sweeps the puck out of the zone.
Richards has been off to a good start. 5 goals, 12 assists, so co-leader in the scoring parade with his hockey club, along with Kopitar.
5-game point streak going for the former Philadelphia Flyer, Mike Richards.
Former captain of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Muzzin works it to the far side. That was behind Lyndon Vane, number 57. His teammates have nicknamed him Oi. Hickey with a drive, and that goes wide.
His strengths, he's a terrific passer, all kinds of hockey sense. So if you're the winger, just get yourself in position because this guy will pass you the puck.
Yeah, they're excited to see they eventually spend a lot of time playing with Tanner Pearson, their first-round pick the year they won the Cup in 2012.
Yeah, and Toffoli, too. They play as a line together early on in the year in the American Hockey League and were almost unstoppable. Toffoli had 28 goals in 58 games last year, so he can score goals. He put up some serious numbers in junior hockey, also scoring 57 goals and 52 goals, so he knows how to play.
Can't you use your clout to get them to go back to the purple?
Oh, I wish, yeah. I mean, I wish I... When we had Bob Miller, we talked to him, and I know that Bob would want to see the form gold and the form blue back is the outfits or the uniforms of the LA Kings. Never looks right to me when I look at white and black.
Of course, that's what they won the Stanley Cup in, so I don't know.
Well, that's the Gretzky area, too. Don't forget. They changed all the colors when the great one showed up.
It was Bruce McNall, the owner at the time.
Starting a whole new, I guess, situation era for the Kings. So change colors.
Clutterbuck checked by Muzzin. Then McNall wound up in jail for various indiscretions relative to coins. Doughty double teamed by the Islanders, but the Kings get it out of the zone. Now Ness across to Korkner, released after his fighting major against Nolan. And Willie Mitchell, number 73, ahead to Nolan. And now in on right wing comes Fratton, another former Leaf. And that goes off McDonald's stick. Going to be a penalty to the Islanders here. Scriven's on his way to the bench. And the Islanders now deemed to have had possession. And the Los Angeles Kings will get the first power play of the night.
Fraser and Casey Cizikas jawing at one another. Looks like Casey's the one that's going to be going to the penalty box.
That's after Andrew McDonald had also gotten into some shoving with Fraser. But it is Cizikas who's going in for roughing at 9:05 of the first period.
Well, the King power play has been pretty good on the road. Talking to Daryl Sutter this morning and asked him about his special teams. Listen to the referee with the roughing. Well, looks like he got a little bit of a shoulder up a little higher than the referee thought he ought to have accomplished, but Sutter was saying that he's enjoyed his power play and his penalty killing on the road. He said we've struggled at home, but on the road we've been pretty good. And the Islanders' penalty killing was good last game, but it hasn't been good. It needs to be good now.
Yeah, it was only 2, but they killed them both the other night. And now here's Nielsen trying to burst free of Muzzin. And I don't know if that puck bounced or if Muzzin reached back and got a piece of it, but Nielsen, who looked to have been on his way, now he has to defend.
Yeah, he had his stick lifted and never got it back down on the ice. Muzzin was able to retrieve it. Another good play by Frans Nielsen. We talk about his scoring prowess as of late, but he's never lost his checking ability. Tremendous penalty killer for the Islanders. Would like to see him start scoring some shorthanded goals, though.
Kings are tied for 10th in the league on the power play. They set this one up with Kopitar feeding Martinez across to Richards. They set up Toffoli in front of the net to screen Poulin. As they throw it around, this is Martinez to Doughty with a big shot, and it's knocked aside. I think that got through and was stopped by Poulin. Now Doughty steps up. Wrist shot, Poulin's got that. He juggles it, recovers. There's the whistle. And this crowd, by the way, they are really and enthusiastically, as you can hear, behind Kevin Poulin. They gave him an extra loud ovation when he was announced as the starter tonight.
Well, they've been waiting for Poulin. I mean, Poulin's been in the organization for 3 or 4 years now, and he's touted as a very good goaltender, and they've been all waiting. And we've seen some goaltenders go through with not a lot of luck as of lately, but then again, now Poulin, with his opportunity, has played well, and these fans know without good goaltending, you're not going to go very far regular season or the playoffs.
Kings get the draw. Martinez moved to the corner, throws it back to Vey. And a tough pass picked off by Grabner. Grabner looks for space. Williams gets back. And then Grabner throws it out.
It looked like Martinez was completely surprised with Grabner being up so tight to Vey. That was almost a gift, almost a 90-foot breakaway.
With all the video in this game, there's going to be a penalty, an interference penalty, as Regan was knocked down. I think it's going to be Williams. And
looks like Dustin Brown,
it's Brown who got him, I guess.
And interference. I mean, the defensive player has the right of way in the neutral zone when you're backing up. So that, even though Dustin Brown kind of stopped a little bit, the referees, as I'm told by the supervisors, will call that every time the defensive player has the right of way and there's an attack going on with a power play or offensive move.
So that'll take care of the Kings power play. They had 2 shots. It ends after 1:27, so they'll play 4-on-4 for 33 seconds, and then the Islanders get the man advantage for as much as 1:27.
Thomas Hickey on the ice on the 4-on-4 is talking to him about, the Los Angeles King. That was his former team where he never really got much of a chance. And was he anxious to play these guys? And he said, "You bet I am. I want to show them that they made a mistake. I have no bitterness," he said, "but I want to show them that I belong in the National Hockey League, and they missed out on somebody."
Well, this is Hickey getting the puck loose from a couple of Kings and leading the charge. Remember, it's 4-on-4 for another 9 seconds.
Boy, would he like to score goals against these guys. That would just be icing on the cake. Well, let's talk about a win also.
Well, Cizikas is out of the box. Now it's an Islander power play. And they've got McDonald, Nielsen, and the Tavares line featuring Brock Nelson, who is hanging out inside the LA zone. Now Fields back as the Islanders come in. Tavares to Nielsen. McDonald at the point. Across to Oposo. McDonald to Tavares. Back now to McDonald. Lines up a screen. Feeds Tavares. Shot it off the leg of Voinov. Gets it again. Floats a pass to Nielsen. And he's got a chase back in the corner. Nelson there. Tavares has it. Missed to the far side. 48 to the power play. Nielsen to Oposo. A good quick pass. Now McDonald for Nielsen. Makes a couple of moves. Spreads it out again. Now to Oposo. And that went behind Tavares, but he'll keep it in with 36 to the power play. Tavares, nice feed, wheeling it back to McDonald. To Tavares. Across to Nielsen. Down low, he was looking for Nelson's stick, just missed. Tavares again. He moves up. Back for McDonald, 21 to the power play. Nielsen with room. Feeds Tavares. It was right at his feet, but he's able to keep it alive. Oposo with room, moves up, missed the far side. Big ricochet away from Nelson, but he chops it back down. Nielsen, McDonald, now Nelson has it blocked, and Fraser clears. The penalty is over as Brown comes out.
Tremendous power play. Did everything right. Good puck movement, good player movement, good puck retrieval. At the end of the day, no goal, but boy, they did everything right. Doug Weight won't be unhappy with that power play.
The Islanders had one shot during the minute 27 of power play time. We're still scoreless, 7:09 to go, first period. And Richards for the Kings. Softly ahead, knocked down, but not controlled by King. And it's Ness for Cizikas. Tough pass. It was behind him, and that allows Richards to carry back in. King missed it, and Martin wrists it ahead. Mitchell being chased by Clutterbuck. Thanks the pass to Martinez. And it's back out in center. Hickey throws it in. And Scrivens, little miscommunication. Mitchell was headed back up the boards. And Scrivens, I think, wanted him to get that puck.
Yeah, I think Mitchell wanted to make a change. Now he's stuck on the ice for a few more seconds. I suspect he'll get off and sketch. Well, he will be able to get off now.
With help from Regan, who deflected that puck out of play. So we'll step out. 6:24 remaining, scoreless first period. No score first period. Get the ultimate backstage pass to the biggest concert of all time, the star-studded 12-12-12 concert from Madison Square Garden, benefiting the victims of Hurricane Sandy, with exclusive performances by Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, the Rolling Stones, The Who, and many more. 12-12-12 in select theaters tomorrow. I want to welcome that fella back. That is Jeff Weintraub, who is the supervisor of the off-ice officials here at the Nassau Coliseum. He recently had rotator cuff surgery and missed a couple of games. Now, I understand that the shoulder that was operated on is on the same side of his body as that in which he wears his wallet. So if you're out to dinner or drinks or anything with Weintraub, have some sympathy for him. He's going to milk that shoulder for the next 6 years. But good to have Jeff back.
Yes. They do a thankless job down there. Do a wonderful job. You're saying he's tight? How is that?
Well, the shoulder's tight now. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Kopitar pulls up. Doesn't get a shot through the check of McDonald.
He's a horrible golfer, I know that.
Is that right? You know
yeah.
from first-hand experience?
Yeah, terrible.
What about the 19th hole? Was that shoulder bothering him then too?
No.
Well, that's good to know. Bailey at the Islander line up the middle for Regan. He's surrounded. And now Williams looks to move the other way. And over the line with a drop to Brown. A save by Poulin on a quick shot. Launched by the captain of the LA Kings, Dustin Brown. Williams plays it across. Slava Voinov pokes it towards the corner. And now Bailey just lifts it out of there. The shots are 10-4 Kings.
Dustin Brown, how he plays, reminds me a little bit of Bobby Clarke. Not quite the offense that Bobby Clarke brought to the table, but sort of the competitiveness, the toughness, working in the corners, the never quit attitude. Of course, the leadership too.
Donovan went down, but the Kings unable to connect on a passing play that was intended from Fratton to Fraser. And now Fratton, number 21, a guy the Toronto Maple Leafs had real high hopes for. I mean, they thought that he would develop into a pretty good two-way player in the National Hockey League. It just hasn't happened. Came over with Ben Scrivens in that deal we talked about earlier.
Yeah, maybe perhaps LA wanted him, recognizing that the kid has talent. Got to give up a good goaltender. Well, let me have a good forward.
Grabner worked it in. Tavares flying off the bench, doesn't handle the puck cleanly. And now Nolan.
Looked like that puck was spinning and hit John's stick and just spun right away from it. And then he was in a chase mode trying to catch up to it.
It has spun and rolled consistently here in the first period.
Yeah, bouncing more than normal.
And that's saying something. Tavares in front for Okposo. Couldn't get the stick unlocked. Okposo keeps working. Now for Ness. Okposo in the corner against Vey. And now Pearson, number 70, against Kartner of the Islanders. And Pearson finally chops it out of there with 3:53 to go, first period. Nelson for the Islanders. Driving against Doughty, who gave him nothing. But it's nice to see that Brock Nelson, not intimidated by Drew Doughty, went right at him and forced Doughty to make a good play.
Yeah, not at all. He just put the puck in front of him, leaned in, and went right to the net.
3:45 to go, first period. No score late first tomorrow on MSG. Get ready for everything you need to know for Sunday's Giants-Packers game. Kick off with Giants 1st and 10 tomorrow at 6:30 on MSG Network.
Well, it's been a good first period for the Islanders. I mean, the Kings are a big, strong team, one of the elite teams in the Western Conference. So Jack Capuano knew this was going to be a challenge, especially for his defensemen. With those big forwards, they like to play down below the goal line. They're going to have to use not necessarily their size and strength, the Islander defensemen. They're going to have to use their smarts, play the angles, and keep their feet moving.
Islanders have the Tavares line on against Richards. Tavares beats Richards on the draw. I think he skips down the boards. Has to deal with the referee as well as the persistence of Toffoli, number 73. It's Toffoli working it away from Brock Nelson. Tavares finds it in the corner, but it's swept away from him and down the ice by Voynich. A little wide for Donovan. Tavares is back to help him out. Donovan tried to clear it, hit King. And so Toffoli throws one to the net, and Houlin's going to grab it. And there'll be a face-off in the Islanders' zone.
Well, one of the characteristics for a Daryl Sutter hockey team is get the puck to the net, or we like to say how he get it to the page, and expects those forwards to drive to the net, looking for rebounds, looking for deflections, or puck retrieval. So a big part of their game is get that puck to the net as often as possible. And that man there knows what it means to go to the net and cause all kinds of problems.
Of course, there was a time when what is now painted was not. And if you would have used that expression not too long ago, people would say, paint? Was this an NBA game? They didn't paint that gold crease blue in the not too distant past.
Was that one of Stan's recommendations?
It might have been. He's got plenty, and most of them are good. Clutterbuck to Cizikas. I think that only went off the net, or the net came off because the goaltender Scrivens backed into it as that puck was coming through in a hurry, and he was trying to scramble back into position.
Yeah, Scrivens threw it around the neck, and Clutterbuck was covering the boards, got it towards the net in a hurry, and Scrivens, I think he just got back in the nick of time. That would have been a huge price to pay for a potential clearing play. You can look at the rush back, and he just missed the net and just knocked it off as he hurried to get back.
And Martinez off the face-off finds Brown trying to clear, but Hamonic kept it in, and Scrivens has to come out again.
You know, a lot of times when you're putting your backup goaltender who doesn't play a lot, the team is a little bit more conscientious about playing good defensive hockey. The Kings, just in general, are a very good defensive team, but certainly I think they have their awareness even heightened a little bit more now with the backup goaltender in the net.
Williams threw the puck in, and then Matt Martin pinned him to the boards. Meantime, Cizikas was knocked down behind the play with Kopitar. Hamonic throws it in deep, keeps chasing. And Muzzin with an outlet for Fratton that he doesn't hold. Bouchard to Nielsen. He shoots through traffic, but it's Muzzin coming loose with it.
Screen by Bailey.
Big Doughty in over the line. And that snaps over the net. Ness back to play it. He got tangled up, but Bouchard slides one up to Bailey on right wing. Onside, a drop to Kartner, and a drive is held by Scrivens. With a minute 45 remaining in the first period.
Well done. Islander defenseman Kartner activating, getting up on the play. Bailey, one little fake pass and then dropped him into Matt Kartner. I don't know if it was right in his wheelhouse because he has a pretty hard shot. I don't think he got all of it, but Bailey drives by, a little fake, and then back with a quick shot, but an easy save for Scrivens as he's able to establish position at the top of the crease. I like the fact that Bouchard was driving to the net looking for a rebound. One of the reasons why he's been scoring as of late. He's got those feet moving, looking for the loose pucks.
King on left wing. Moving to the blue line. And lofting one ahead towards Richards that Poulin smacked away.
King not really what you would call a goal scorer. He's a guy that goes up and down, got size, can work the corners. Maybe that's all you have to do when you're playing with Richards. Work the corner, get it out to him.
Oso in the corner gets it out to Donovan, and Scrivens will grab that one with Tavares right in his face.
Islanders getting a few more pucks towards the net as this period comes to an end. Again, trying to get their legs going too after a good win the other night. Practiced yesterday. But this has been a very competitive first period for both clubs.
Tavares did not practice yesterday, and that raised some suspicion about his availability for this game, but that was all cleared up before 11 o'clock this morning.
Well, like I said the other night, how when you crash into the boards, a lot of times you don't feel the real pain until after the game, and the next day you get the bruises. And it takes you a little bit longer to loosen up.
And he's had more ice time. There's going to be a penalty to the Kings here. There was a hook along the boards that was spotted, I think, by the trail referee rather than the one down low. And now we get the whistle, and with 54.4 seconds remaining in the first period, the Islanders are going to get a power play.
Well, good news, bad news on that particular opportunity for the power play, Howie. It's going to be split in half if the Islanders don't score. But the good news is that they'll have new ice at the start of the second period if they don't score at the end of this period. I think they just like to score a goal, not worry about the ice surface. But there's the hook right now as Colin McDonald continues to work down low. Willie Mitchell gets caught with the stick in between the legs.
They actually call it holding the stick.
Holding the stick.
At 19:05.
You don't hear that one called all that often. A little more common back in the 60s and 70s because everybody grabbed everybody's stick.
And nobody ever called it.
No.
Actually, I don't even think that particular penalty was in the rule book back in the 60s and 70s, holding the stick. But anyway, this Islander power play is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know.
Well, if you ask Bill Esposito about Terry Harper, he would say no, that was never called.
Guy you eventually played with in L.A., Terry Harper. Here's a Poso. Double team, knocked down. But the Islanders get there quickly against Lewis, forcing him to throw it to the near side. And the Islanders keep possession. McDonald. Cross to Nielsen. Nice move away from Lewis. Nelson to McDonald with 6. Lines up a drive and a save by Scrivens. So a face-off coming in the L.A. zone with 3.1 seconds to go in the period.
Good shot by Andrew McDonald to get to the net as the crowd was yelling. The shoot at time was winding down. But Kyle Oposo and Franz Nielsen. Well, there's the little cross-check in front by the L.A. Kings. Regeers, that was a good trade for, I believe, for coming from Buffalo for the L.A. Kings. Regeers been around for a while. Real solid physical defenseman. Got good size.
And as the Kings win the draw, Muzzin just protects the puck in the corner and the period ends. The Islanders will have 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining on the power play when we start the second period. According to the overhead board, Kings outshot the Islanders 10-7 in a scoreless first period. So we ask you to stay tuned for the first intermission report presented by Ford. Peter will be all over the place. He'll chat with Thomas Hickey, the former LA King #1 pick, and also his conversation with the great play-by-play voice of the Los Angeles Kings, seemingly forever, since the mid-1970s, Bob Miller, as well as highlights of the first period here at the Coliseum. So scoreless at the end of one. Some power play time for the Islanders to start the second. Ford intermission report is next. Scoreless game as we get set for the second period. Saturday night on MSG+2, the Islanders take on the Detroit Red Wings. Live coverage gets underway at 6:30 with Visa Islanders game night. Islanders Red Wings Saturday night on MSG+2. Check MSG.com for local channel listings. And as we have a little bit of time before they start the second period, here's our trivia question for tonight, brought to you by Cadillac. Now you have heard the longtime voice of the LA Kings, Bob Miller, just interviewed by Peter Rutgazer in part of our Ford intermission report. But who is the original, the first play-by-play voice of the Los Angeles Kings when they were part of the great expansion of 1967 when the NHL doubled from 6 to 12 teams? Butchie was part of that before too long, breaking in as a 12-year-old in the 1969-70 season.
Yeah, well, you have half of that right.
But let's see, in 69-70, I guess the man we're talking about was still there. So
Yep, oh, he was.
all right, we'll revisit that a little bit later on. Some of you with an idea about history might already know it, but we will have more on that a little bit later. Now,
Actually, was two broadcasters before the great Bob Miller. One is the original, and there was one in between.
only three in the entire time the Kings have been in the NHL.
That's exactly right.
Hot stuff when you consider that they came in, what is that, 46 years ago.
Maybe Eric can find out the middle guy.
Avey? Was it a guy named Dan Avey? Don Avey?
Dan Avey, but I believe Dan Avey was the color man.
Oh, okay. Well, the Islanders still on a power play here for another 40 minutes. What these trivia questions do, they take all of our minds off the game right away. Nielsen backing it up for McDonald. And now Tavares plays it into the LA zone, but that's chopped back out of there. We're down to 23 on the power play.
Yeah, not a very good entry for the Islanders. Struggled to get in and cost them some time.
Tavares to Nielsen. McDonald. Nielsen. Tavares moves up. That goes off the stick of Voinov. Recovered by Nelson. Hard feed to McDonald. He shoots, stick save, and the rebound flips over the net. Ready to come out of the boxes, Mitchell. Here he is. And oh, by the way, here's the puck waiting for him. One shot for the Islanders on that power play. Brown allows his team to complete a change. Then he gives the puck away. Nelson looking for Regan on left wing. So that pass was initially intended for Oposo. Regan lets it go for Grabner. Brings it around the net. Put it out in front. Off the goaltender Scrivens. Colin McDonald back behind the net. Scrivens stops this one. Pressured by Regan. So McDonald leaves it in the corner. Got turned around and the Kings get it out of the zone. Now Muzzin works it ahead, but that deflects out of play. 1:51 into this second period.
Yeah, the last Islander power play was not very good. Not a lot of offensive zone time, but in between periods, I was talking to Hall of Famer Luc Robitaille, and he was talking about the Islander players, Islander power play, and he was talking about how impressed he was with the puck movement and the talent out there. There's a guy that knows all about power plays.
I'm trying to remember, did he score? Eric Hornick would know this right away, but I'll bet you he might have been the guy who scored more goals than anyone drafted as low as where he was drafted. And he was, what, about 170 or something like that?
Yeah, one of the steals, I guess you could say. Kings had a couple of steals. Dave Taylor was another guy that had a tremendous career.
Clutterbuck tries to center. That's broken up. Now Kartner under some pressure from the rookie Pearson. This is Pearson's first game of the year. It's his first official NHL game, but that has to be qualified. His first regular season game as he played in the playoffs last year.
A little bit like Brock Nelson for the New York Islanders. Pearson, another one of those young players who played in Barrie, Ontario. His coach is Hal Hawerchuk.
A save initially, and Cizikas backhands the rebound home. And the Islanders take a 1-0 lead. Scrivens just couldn't control it with his stick. And Cizikas found the hole for his first goal of the year.
Well, we talked about last game about the second and third effort of Casey Cizikas, the blocking of shots and going the extra mile. And here's the good hard work as it pays off as he goes right from the corner and drives to net, looks for the loose puck. He's not going to be denied. Make sure, too, he gets it up in the air, doesn't try to just slide it along the ice, allowing Scriven some opportunity to maybe make a save. Does the smart thing and gets it up in the air.
So is that a dirty enough area to qualify?
That's a dirty area, yeah. I guess you go to that greasy area, dirty area in that paint. And a good effort. Big goal when you get one from your fourth line.
Yeah, I forgot Grease was involved, too.
Yeah, there's all kinds of adjectives to describe that area that a little bit unknown for me.
So first of the year for Cizikas to give the Islanders the lead. Matt Donovan tucks it into the Los Angeles zone.
That's the quintessential chip and chase there.
Nielsen gets back, but offside was Bouchard, who never did get out of the zone.
Yeah, he thought he got his right skate just on the line. Pretty close call, but Casey Cizikas all smiles a little while ago. Was showing me his mustache earlier on today. I said, what are you doing with that? Are you going to keep that forever? And he said, well, maybe. He says, I kind of like it a little bit. But certainly till the end of the month.
All part of the Movember initiative.
New York Islanders goal. Scorer number 53.
Regeer plays the puck to the Islander line. Was broken up there. Regeer has it again. This time he throws it into the zone, and Williams chases the puck and Hamonic. Grabner worked it ahead. That went off of Williams' stick. Bailey and Martin got the assists on Cizikas' first at 2:44.
A good point for Josh Bailey as he has struggled over the last half a dozen games or so. No shots on net, no goals, obviously. You don't shoot the puck, you can't score.
And Grabner has it back out in center. And Scrivens leaves it for his defense. Little more than 4 minutes gone here in the first period. Bailey had gone 9 games without a point before getting that assist.
That's all you need is to find a way to get a point or a goal and gets you going again. Gets a little bit of a load off your shoulders. Kings having a nice job of breaking out of their zone, really using their centerman down the middle, D to D up the middle. So well executed breakout for the Kings.
The other thing with Bailey, coming into this game, he'd gone 5 games in a row without a shot.
Yeah,
and he didn't have one in the first period either. Quick shot from the deep angle. Taken by Frenton, went wide, but now Oposo chases, drops it for Tavares, throws it across, they score! Aaron Ness, who jumped up on the play, scores his first National Hockey League goal. It's his first NHL point. It was a gorgeous setup, and the Islanders lead it 2-0.
Good effort by the Islanders, particularly starts with Kyle Oposo. Watch him as he just outraces Doherty. And a Tavares, quick vision of John Tavares. And a nice smart move by Aaron Ness to recognize that there's an opportunity for him. Talk about the defenseman activating. Tavares with the quick look. And there's a hard pass. Tremendous one-timer by Aaron Ness. That's not easy to do, Howie, to go back across your body without cradling the puck at all. The quick snap, the bottom corner. That's a terrific first goal for Aaron Ness.
2 goals for the Islanders in a span of 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And boy, John Tavares, not to take any of the attention away from Ness with his first NHL goal, but between Oposo and then Tavares, what a gorgeous setup.
Well, it really was. And, you know, John Tavares has that great vision. And as soon as he was going to pick up the puck, knew it was coming to him. He took a look around to see who might join the play, spotted Aaron Ness. And the key was he fired that pass across. He didn't try to loft it or make it an easy play.
And here comes Martin now closing in. Matt Martin put it through the slot, backed up and fired wide by Donovan. And again, we always talk about Tavares not only getting you the puck, but putting it right on your tape.
Yeah,
that's another example.
Exactly. He didn't have a lot of room to manipulate that pass. Picked his spot and fired it. Timing is everything.
Puck back out in center now, taken by Regeer.
New York Islanders.
So the Islanders up 2-0, and that'll be something for Aaron Ness to savor forever. They'll inscribe it on the bench, present it to him, and everybody will be asking Aaron Ness after the game and over the next day or two who he's going to give it to, what he's going to do with it. Foxy's getting it all ready. See what he's going to do. He's going to take that tape, wind it around the circumference of the puck, and then with that Sharpie he's holding, he'll inscribe the date and the occasion, first NHL goal, and it'll be on Aaron Ness's mind, if not necessarily his mantelpiece, forever.
It's a big moment. We've talked about it before. He's scoring that first goal in the National Hockey League is a very memorable moment. Only happens once, obviously, and that was a particularly nice goal. Sometimes you get goals that, I would say aren't great. They could go in off someone's butt, stick, deflection, who knows. That was a super goal. And you talked about John Tavares. When he got that puck, Howie, he took a look and he had to thread the needle. He didn't rush it. He had to wait till he could clear the sticks and make sure that pass was right on the stick of Aaron Ness.
So congratulations to him. The Islanders have given themselves and their goaltender, Kevin Poulin, a 2-0 lead. All of these games that Poulin has played in succession, all three of them, once again to reiterate, no first period goals, and holding the Islanders in, giving them a chance to do what they've done here, take the lead.
Yeah, and he's getting a lot of help in this game. I love the way the Islanders are able to stand up the Kings. And we always talk about gap control. The Islanders are doing as good a job as I've seen them do in quite a while.
Now Bouchard feeds McDonald. Williams picked it off of his stick. Kopitar drops it off. Williams finds Brown in the Islanders zone, takes it wide, draws McDonald down, keeps the puck, feeds the slot, a knuckleball stopped by Poulin and recovered by Hamonic after being hit by Brown. Kopitar kept it in. It was knocked down by Colin McDonald's stick. He starts a rush in over the LA line, hurls one to the net. It's stopped by Scriven.
And you see the rebound, and that's what happens with Scriven. When he doesn't take care of the little details, he'll give you those rebounds if you get the puck towards the net.
Same thing with a guy he was with in Toronto that we've seen before, James Reimer, who can really struggle with the puck in terms of controlling it after he stops it or even catching it. Remember when Reimer was in here for a game, it was 2 years ago, everything they threw at him that he caught, he dropped or juggled or fumbled.
Yeah, he had a tough time with control, and we remarked that he doesn't play any baseball because he certainly didn't handle the pucks at all when they were shot towards him. He did struggle, and the Islanders were able to bat a few goals by him, if I recall, on rebounds.
8 minutes into the second period, the Islanders have had all 6 shots so far. They've scored twice to take a 2-0 lead. Poso gets it back, hits the slot with room, steps up, has it blocked, recovers, shoots, save made, rebound, rolls along towards the goal line, then behind the net, steered around the boards, but not out. Parker kept it in until Nolan got it loose, and on comes Fraser, number 24. Just flipping one wide on the glove side of Poulin.
Yeah, that looked like it nicked the top of Poulin's glove. That was a pretty hard wrist shot by Fraser.
Muzzin throws one to the net, and Poulin's got that. And there's no further play. Great start to this second period by the Islanders. Cizikas and then Aaron Ness combined to make it 2-0 New York. Muzzle tough. They'll finish out a 3-game homestand against the Red Wings on Saturday night. And then head to Toronto on Tuesday, Pittsburgh next Friday. And just to throw in a bonus selection not seen on that screen, that little road trip will end in Philadelphia the following night, meaning next Saturday night.
Some division games for the Islanders late in the road trip. Pittsburgh's been struggling as of late. Toronto with some injury. Yeah, Toronto with some injury. Philly's actually playing better.
Poland out for Toronto, and Philly winning 2-1 in Pittsburgh last night.
Kadri just been suspended by Shanahan.
3 games. Now Tavares relaxes the puck, takes a bump, a hard feed stays in for Hickey, lines up a shot, and that carries over the net off a deflection and over the glass as well.
And Hickey almost fooled him with that shot. He gave a little fake, Scrivens went down, and then Hickey went up high with the shot and just caught the top of the shoulder on Scrivens. Talked about how much Hickey's looked forward to this game. Watch the little fake, and then he just hesitates. There it is, and there's his shot. Oh, actually goes off the stick of Nelson. Wouldn't have been his goal. Would have been excited though.
By the way, would you believe they took the assist away from Josh Bailey and gave it to Clutterbuck instead on Cizikas' goal? So Bailey's still working on 10 straight games, including this one, without a point.
We'll have to review it just to make sure.
Maybe that's Weintraub down there, you know, with that shoulder injury of his that he is breathing through to work. Maybe he misread something. Then again, he's just the supervisor.
Well, he's an old guy with glasses too, so he could make a mistake.
Clutterbuck throws one down low, steered into the crowd by the goaltender Scrivens.
Well, the Islanders are very, very hungry. Get a lot of pucks towards the net. I think they've been listening to us, Howie, that get the pucks towards the net with Scrivens. He doesn't handle his rebounds all that well, although he did a real nice job of deflecting that puck out over the glass. Face-off, which the Kings have been very good. The Kings won 2 out of every 3 face-offs in the first period. It's an area that the Islanders, again, continue to struggle with.
Nielsen and Kopitar draw. And back out. Hamonic chases it into the Islanders' zone. Kopitar with his size and strength. That's a great test for Frans Nielsen.
Oh, it really is. And Kopitar is a terrific two-way hockey player. Plays good offense and good defense. And you're right. I mean, when he leans on you, and he's a very powerful skater.
You know, as skilled as Nielsen is defensively and now offensively too, you know, he's given away some size to Kopitar, but then again, Frans done a great job on him so far tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing you always wonder with a small centerman. Does he compete with the big forwards? Frans has done a nice job. Kopitar is a challenge.
Nolan brings it in, then drops it off for Williams.
Speaking of challenges, Andrew McDonald, 10 minutes in the first period he played. His partner played a little over 9. A lot of ice time for those two guys.
Doughty working against Bouchard in the corner. 9:25 to go here in the second period, and Muzzin just had the stick knocked out of his hand by Colin McDonald. They're jawing as the Kings move up ice.
Colin thought he was held by Muzzin in the corner. Gave the referee a dirty look. Even the referees know about the dirty areas.
Partner up ahead. Slapped away by Muzzin. Talking about ice time, Andrew McDonald, 3rd in the National League, National Hockey League, in average time on ice during a game. And again, he's not the biggest guy in the world either, so you wonder as what is now the Islanders' 20th game morphs into their 40th and 60th and 80th, if he'll be able to withstand that kind of workload.
Yeah, well, I asked him about that same thing, Howie. He just said, you know, that I got to really watch what I'm doing of the recovery. I got to take care of myself, get my rest. So does that mean every night? He said, no.
He has a GPS on him, too? There's a puck coming around the net that winds up in the corner.
Poulin lost his stick. John Tavares doing it all right now, kissing back his stick.
Poulin lost it a couple of times the other night.
Well, when those guys drive towards the net, the stick, you know, sticks out the long end, and these guys are strong, and they knock it right out of your hands.
Trevor Lewis, number 22, former first-round pick, is still searching for his first point this year. Slides it to the net, and Poulin holds on. 8 minutes to go, second period. 2-0 Islanders. Saturday night joined Bill Pito along with E.J. Raddick, Ken Danico, and former LA King Ron Duguay for all the latest on the Islanders, plus a trip around the NHL. Hockey Night Live, presented by Lenox Hill Hospital, Saturday night at 9:30 on MSG+.
And how about Marty Biron being on the Ranger broadcast the other night? Never been short for words, Marty Biron.
Now some would say he's a natural. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more of him. And good luck to Marty, who was here, of course, for a year, and just a terrific guy, and his personality came out in every interview he did, and now on the other side of that microphone, I'm sure it'll come out even more now that he's calling the shots as much as you can.
Now that he's officially getting the last word.
Yeah. So much for him pursuing an honest line of work. Nelson has a shot blocked. On comes King, and he snaps one into and out of the glove of Poulin, who took contact and drew the penalty. King will go for goaltender interference. Now, did Poulin help it along a little bit? I'm sure. But when you're playing against the guys from Hollywood, if you're going to audition, you better be at your best.
Yeah, and he Probably an Oscar nominee right there. It certainly did get run into by King and then reacted right away. One might say you could talk about embellishing. Couldn't handle that shot.
Whoa.
There's a shot. Oh, he does get, looks like he gets a stick in the mask area. I'm not sure if that's King's. But you can just see that actually Hickey's stick comes up. I believe it was. But did touch the goaltender.
These things happen.
Yes. Sutter, not sure why.
No, I don't think Sutter's going to that movie.
They never invite him to happy hour, I can tell you that, Howie.
That line, the first incarnation of that I ever heard was from Bob Plager. I don't even remember who he was talking about, but he said they threw him out of a bar. Why? They wanted to start happy hour.
That's it. Daryl Sutter never has a lot of smiles on his face.
There's Clutterbuck shooting and a save made by Scrivens. This Islander power play and all of the attendant Michigas is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting play as Clutterbuck shot the puck and then Regehr stayed with him and Clutterbuck's stick got caught in the net and it snapped and hit Regehr's helmet and knocked it right off. That could have been really dangerous. Could have been a real hard injury on Regehr.
All you get in the rule book for that is, again, these things happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was accidental, but Clutterbuck was driving at him. Regehr trying to take him out, and the stick got caught in the webbing.
So, 23 seconds gone on the Islanders' power play. They are 0 for 2 with 3 power play shots. McDonald, a drive up high, a save by Scrivens, who really fought that one up shoulder high.
Yeah, I don't think he was able to see it all the way in. Picked it up late and did what a goaltender's supposed to do, find a way to make a save.
McDonald to Nielsen with a Tavares line up front.
Good clean entry that time, Howie, real clean.
Nelson along the boards. To Nielsen. Out to Tavares. McDonald, one-timer! And that's stopped in front with Nelson providing a disturbance.
Yeah, Willie Mitchell hit his toe, I believe.
Nelson or Tavares. Now Oposo relaxes the puck. McDonald in a little trouble, just has to move it in a hurry, as does Mitchell, who fires it all the way down.
Well, when you play the top of the umbrella, if you fumble it at all, you got to make sure you keep it ahead because that's a 2-on-1 or a breakaway if you make a mistake. So Andrew McDonald recognized that and got rid of it in a hurry.
Under 6 minutes to go in the period. Half minute left on the Islanders' third power play. They lead 2-0. Grabner wields it to the near boards. Bouchard under pressure from Regehr, lost the handle, so Voinov plays it the other way. Lewis wanted to clear, lost his balance, plunged to the boards. He's a little woozy. Donovan plays it back to the corner. Lewis gets back up. And there might have been a little more Hollywood-type performance there. All of a sudden, he doesn't look so shaken up. Bailey with a penalty ending. Across to Donovan. Out of the box is King. Donovan. Bouchard, a save, Scrivens. It's pitched to the boards by Lewis. And sent to the line, but not out. Clutterbuck held it in. The Islanders had 2 shots on that power play. And a penalty coming to the Islanders here. Clutterbuck will go a charge. Will send the Kings to the power play.
Yeah, I'm not sure the referee doesn't make this call up from the last hit on Lewis. Nothing for the Islanders in the second period at the Nassau Coliseum. While Clutterbuck, watch this hit on Lewis. Lewis falls down. Yeah, he gets his head wrapped pretty hard into the boards. But this is a good check by Clutterbuck. It's not his fault that Lewis lost his balance and went down. But I think that helped in this situation here as Clutterbuck comes over on Regehr. I believe he got the penalty because he left his feet. But if it was not that play on the other boards, the referees might have been a little bit more reluctant not to call that. It wasn't a terrible hit. But Lewis really shaken up. You can see he fell down and got a good whack on the head.
Yeah, there's no question. That was a legitimate hit, and he really did seem shaken up. I didn't mean to trivialize the attempt to draw the penalty, but he did get back up and into the play in a hurry. And so now, Clutterbuck for a charge at 14:53 gives the Kings their second power play. And I believe that puck deflected, so no danger of another penalty coming to the Islanders here. It's the Kings' second power play. Islanders have outshot them 11-4 here in the second period as Lewis regains his wits about him on the bench.
Yeah, much stronger period for the Islanders. A good attempt by Matt Martin to get it out, and you're right, it did hit Kopitar's stick and deflect out beside the blue line, and that's why the faceoff is on the outside.
Kopitar, Williams, Brown, Richards playing a point along with Doughty. And this is Doughty, number 8. Islanders have Grabner and Nielsen up front. McDonald and Hamonic back. Kings move it in, try to spread it out. Nielsen preventing that. Good work by Nielsen against Williams. Now Kopitar with a couple of Islanders on him finds Richards, centering feed too hard for Brown to handle. But again, the Kings keep it in. Kopitar across. It was deflected off of McDonald's stick, and that's why Richards wasn't set and ready to play the puck and ultimately lost his balance.
Yeah, handcuffed him a little bit. Jack Capuano wants his penalty killers to be more aggressive all over the ice.
No shots yet for the Kings halfway through their power play. Poulin gets a piece of it. And then it's wound around by Hickey. Kopitar double team, turned it over. Most of that dirty work done by Martin. Nice work on the PK by Matt Martin.
Yeah, controlling the boards, able to get that puck back to Thomas Hickey. Thomas Hickey makes sure the second time to get that puck out. Realized he had a little more time.
There's a lead for Pearson. Didn't hold it cleanly. Now throws one on net, kicked out. Vey gets it back to the blue line. Half minute to go on the power play. Vey to Pearson. Back past Vey, but it went off his skate, chipped out by Nielsen, ahead with Grabner. Michael Grabner driving on Martinez, now pulls up with the Islanders short-handed, leaves it in the corner because he's got to get to the bench. And the Islander penalty killers have done all but 10 seconds of the job. And Hamonic trying to control that bouncing puck, couldn't do it. Pearson poked it to the net, and Poulin grabs it. 3 seconds remain on the power play.
LA Kings almost break loose. Watch the long pass. All down the middle. Islanders get caught napping a little bit there. Good save by Poulin as he misses the net, but Pearson found the opening. There's got to be some awareness. You got to, when that puck's ahead of you, Islander defense on the back checking forward, Grabner in this case, you have to look around and see where all those forwards are.
One shot for the Kings on the power play, which only has 3 seconds remaining. So Doughty lines up a drive, takes it, knocked down in front and pushed wide by Fraser as Clutterbuck is out of the box. Team's at full strength. Doughty a shot blocked away. And it's Tavares sweeping it right to Clutterbuck. Brings it in on right wing. Throws one to the net. That's blocked away by Scrivens. Good and perhaps somewhat deceptive play by Clutterbuck.
Now smart move in the last couple of minutes of the period. You have a 2-0 lead. Keep the puck ahead of you. No odd man situations, no turnovers.
And Donovan across. Stratton with a good hit on Hickey, who returns fire. And Muzzin in the corner. Touch of 19-15 Islanders. New York leading 2-0. Both goals coming here in the second. Tavares knocked down. Nolan without a stick because he had broken it. And it's Kartner in for Nelson. He shoots up high. Scrivens the save.
Scrivens wasn't cheating there. Hug his post. Walk Nelson looking for a short side goal.
Now King stepping in front of Kartner, but pays a price for that as Kartner lined him up. And Kovacic, the linesman, or Kovacic, pardon me, had the puck go off of him. Regan got out of the way of most of that attempted hit. Thrown by Voinov. And out to Foley. Around. Missed by Richards. We'll get another chance. He and King are in tight. Mike Richards back to the blue line, but he made a dangerous pass right off of Grabner. He turns on the Jets. Has McDonald. Grabner shoots. Save made. Grabner a shot at the rebound, but Scrivens holds on.
Smart play by Michael Grabner, looking for obviously his first goal in quite a while, but defenseman played it very well. He's going out, just backs right up. You can see he takes a little look. Michael looks, doesn't like what he sees, and zips that shot. Scrivens plays the shooter all the way. Michael Grabner, good wrist shot, trying to go on the short side, just above the pad, just below the glove, but a good save by Ben Scrivens.
And from the draw, it's Doughty in the corner. Got by Clutterbuck, some room on right wing for Williams. Into the Islanders zone, throws one towards the net again. Poulin takes contact, and again I think there's going to be a penalty, and this is going to be on Kopitar. And this time the Islanders really take exception, and there was no act there because Kopitar's a big boy, and Poulin would love to have gotten out of the way of that. But Kopitar made enough contact to warrant the penalty.
Yeah, you've got to put the binders on at some point in time. Good play to Williams to throw it across, but again, Kopitar late in putting those binders on. You can see that he tried to stop, but it's right at the top of the crease, and he just goes a little bit too long. You got to be in a bit much more control than Kopitar was. Kopitar's not a dirty player. You can see that he did try to stop, but it's just too little too late.
How much should a forward be expected to do, given size, little bit of speed going there, and the proximity to the goaltender? How much can you put on a forward?
Well, I don't know, because all the coaches will tell you that they want their forwards driving to the net, Howie. So, you know, it's a tough situation for any forward to really judge, you know, when should I stop? Because if that puck comes across the crease, I want to be able to tap it in. So I guess it's just one of the hazards of the game. You're going to drive to the net. You're occasionally going to get caught and have to take a penalty.
So goaltender interference on Kopitar at 18:49, and the Islanders onto their fourth power play now. 0 for 3 with 5 shots. We're into the final minute of the second period, so unless the Islanders do a little business here, they'll begin the second consecutive period with a man advantage when we commence the third. But Islanders looking to change that as McDonald finds a Poso. Nelson again right in front of the net. Now drifts to the corner. McDonald to Tavares. Leans into one. Didn't get much.
Yeah, pass was too far ahead of him.
Here he is again. Tavares teeing it up. Drawing a pair of Kings. Then moving it quickly. McDonald to a Poso. Hard pass.
Yeah, looking for Franz Nielsen in that slot area, Kyle Poso. Now there's a little different power play. John Tavares is on his offside.
McDonald stopped by Scrivens. Rebound Tavares. That missed a couple of sticks on the way through. Rescued by McDonald. 8 seconds left in the period, and the Kings will get rid of it. So again, the Islanders will start the next period, in this case the third, on the power play. But they get quite a hand, and deservedly so, as they dominate large stretches of the second period. Cizikas with his first of the year, and then Aaron Ness with his first ever in the NHL. And they have combined to give the Islanders a 2-0 lead. They outshot the Kings 15-5 in the second period.
Yeah, and deservedly so that they have this 2-0 lead. Islanders played as good a period of hockey as we've seen in quite a while. I thought they played well the other night, but this is a different opposition, a much more capable opposition. So the Islanders won the battles. Coach will be happy winning all those battles, Howie.
Well, you know, Aaron Ness is happy. Now he gets to talk about what we'll show you right here, his first NHL goal. Go talk about it, kid. Islanders getting set for the third. Here's our Tri-Honda game recap. Kevin Poulin's work speaks for itself, but there you've got Cizikas, his first of the year. Ness is first in his career in the National Hockey League. And John Tavares picking up a point in a game we weren't quite sure he'd be able to play after that nasty spill into the end boards late in the game on Tuesday night. Now, let us revisit the Cadillac trivia question, which we asked you earlier tonight. You've met Bob Miller, the longtime voice of the Los Angeles Kings, but who was their original play-by-play voice? His first name is John. His middle name is Kenneth. You know him as neither. You know him and love him as Jiggs. Jiggs McDonald. That's his baby pictures. Now, is that how he looked when he took the Kings job? So he hadn't grown the beard
I don't think so. I don't think that's. I don't recall that's the way he looked. But now that was in 1967, mind you.
Oh, now look at this. A penalty shot goal against Gilles Villemure. And this is great.
Yeah, this is the overtime goal in Game 6 of the Boston Bruins. And I'll tell you what, it was an exciting moment. The fans have been going crazy the entire time. And I was fortunate enough to be able to score that goal. And I guess everybody was excited because they carried me off the shoulders.
I don't know why you couldn't just enjoy yourself once in a while you play.
Hey, you play hard, you have fun.
That's great. That's got to be an unbelievable thrill, scoring an overtime goal and then getting hoisted onto your teammates' shoulders.
And they stole that part for Rudy, too, you know.
Well, you set the scene for it.
I did, yeah. I'm sure that, Hollywood, inspiration.
That's it. Well, North Shore LIJ, the official health system of the New York Islanders. 30 seconds remaining on the power play, but here's a shorthanded burst for Richards. Driving to the net, he backhands. Poulin the save! And Kevin Poulin stays hot while the Islanders go the other way.
Yeah, huge save. I mean, what a jump start that would have been for the Kings if they score a shorthanded goal by Richards. Andrew McDonald put some pressure on Richards at the end, but never took a penalty. That would have been a penalty shot.
Good keep by Tavares. Well, you just showed everybody how to score on a penalty shot, and that clip from a long time ago. Drive by Ness, right on. Stopped by the goaltender Scrivens. Penalty over. Here's Big Kopitar. Out of the box and into the zone. Kopitar against Hamonic. Kopitar, nice feed. Muzzin shoots. Glove save made by Poulin. And this kid is lighting up the Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, very impressive couple of saves. Islanders giving up some good opportunities. Watch Richards tries to go 5-hole on the backhand. He's watching all the way. Quick pull to the backhand. But Poulin just stares square to him all the way along. And this might be his best save of the night. Quick release with Dustin Brown sitting right in front of him. Poulin's able to keep his eye on the puck and make a beautiful save on Muzzin.
And another one that got through and got him in the pads. And boy, Kevin Poulin is smelling the opportunity to establish himself not just as a National Hockey League goaltender, but perhaps as a regular National Hockey League goaltender.
Well, the way he's been playing, he's not only proven he belongs in the National Hockey League, he's proven he could be one of the elite goaltenders in the league, especially with saves like that. Kings have put on a pretty strong push early in this period.
Well, pushing again. Here's Williams shooting up high.
Jack Capuano may want to call timeout. His team has really not looked very sharp in this opening first couple of minutes. Fortunate not to have given up a goal already.
Regan checked by Vey. And Vey pries it loose only to have Regan win it back. And then Vey does the same thing. And that's a pretty good one-on-one battle.
There's a high stick. They missed that one as Regan was high stick by Williams. Accidental, but did get the stick up. Had it underneath the shield area.
Scrivens around to the far side. And Toffoli unable to clear.
Islanders have done such a great job in the neutral zone, not allowing the Kings any kind of room at all. But Kings have found room in this third period to come through the neutral zone with some real speed and some good odd-man rushes, terrific opportunities.
There are a lot of things in the course of a game or series of games that can turn on a home crowd. Obviously, a terrific offensive player can do that. But when you got a young goaltender who's making a bid to win a job and the team is responding to his play, it just sends a different level of energy and adrenaline into the people in attendance. And I think we've seen that again tonight.
Yeah, they're buzzing. There's no doubt about it.
Now Nielsen steps up, shoots one. A glove save made by Scrivens, and there'll be a face-off in the Los Angeles zone.
And a real big confidence booster, not only for Kevin Poulin, but for the entire hockey club. Boy, when you know that if you make mistakes, the puck doesn't end up in your net. And that just makes you more relaxed on the ice. You're not scared to to take some chances, albeit they should be smart decisions. But it certainly gives the team itself a real boost when your goaltender plays as well as Kevin has tonight.
Now from the draw, Kings control. Regier up to King. White King with a drop to Voinod, who carries in, surrounded by 4 Islanders. The puck dribbles to the corner, where it's grabbed by Brock Nelson. And now Ness for a Poso. A little trouble controlling it, but he'll keep chasing. Hit by Regier. Tavares follows. And now Karkner over to the far boards. Play that off of Richards. And King takes it around the net. White King against Nelson. Tavares just does clear. Doughty's got to wait for King to get out. Now he fires it in as the Kings have tagged up. In fact, they change it. Martin threw it out ahead, brought in by Muzzin. Lewis plays it off the boards, but has to reach back for it. Then he's dumped by Andrew MacDonald. Doughty trying to keep that wobbly puck in, and it's been wobbling all night. Gartner for Martin, and then Clutterbuck shot it right off of Martin. McDonald back in the Islanders zone. 4.5 gone here in the third period.
You just watched Travis Hamonic join the rush. Something the Kings have been doing, creating a lot of offense for him in the first 5 minutes.
Scrivens just did get the glove on that before Grabner was able to get a stick in.
He struggles with the puck when it's along his feet and on those shots we talked about, giving up a lot of rebounds. As a matter of fact, Billy Ranford was talking about, who's the goaltending coach for the LA Kings, was talking about the same thing, that, you know, when you don't play a lot, the first thing that you struggle with is those rebounds, because you haven't been feeling the puck in game-like situations.
Ranford, pretty good NHL goaltender with the Bruins and Oilers and others.
Does a nice job with the Kings. Of course, he has Jonathan Quick, what makes his job a lot easier.
Well, it's not going to be Jonathan Quick wearing the mask and the big stick and the big shoulder pads for a while. They say a grade 2 sprain of the groin. So Martin Jones has been called up, and that was Jones, the backup for now to Scrivens. And those grade 2 groin strains have such a wide range of results in terms of how quickly players come back from them. They're estimating it can be anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks that Quick misses. And that's potentially a lot of time.
Well, 6 weeks would be huge for the LA Kings. And you know, when you have goaltenders who stretch out like these hybrid goaltenders with their spread eagle type scenario and going down and putting pressure on their groins all the time, it's an important area for Jonathan Quick to make sure he's 100% healed, because he won't be able to play his game if he's 80 or 90%. He won't play it as effectively.
Kings keep it alive. Voinov puts a move on McDonald, who gives him nothing. Good play by Amat. Now Kopitar setting up, feeds Voinov from no angle, and he scores. Voinov from a very sharp angle has gotten the Kings on the board, and it's now 2-1 at New York.
A good pressure by the Kings, is able to control the puck down low. A little bit of confusion in the Islanders zone as the guys got running around just a little bit. But again, talked about the activation of the defenseman of the LA Kings. Again, 2 guys on the same man. Andrew McDonald trying to point out the direction of Regan to maybe help out a little bit. Good play from behind the net to Kopitar. And Poulin just never gets set. He never gets his position. It's the first time that he hasn't been able to square himself to the shooter, and the puck slides by him.
So the third of the year from Slava Voinov, and that makes it a 2-1 game. The goal coming at 5:34. And so the Kings, who have had much the better of play to start this third period, now find themselves having cut the Islander lead in half, and with a whole lot of momentum.
The best 5 minutes of the hockey game for the Kings. Haven't had any kind of sustained pressure like they've enjoyed in the start of this third period.
They keep a lot of pressure on the puck there, but it's Doughty back in the LA zone now.
Yeah, working just a little bit harder, outworking the Islanders. The Islanders, again, have to continue to be smart with the puck. When you don't have a play, chip it in deep. Don't turn it over just inside the blue line.
Kopitar and Williams picked up the assists at 5:34. And now here's Brock Nelson in on right wing. Tried to feed the slot, but Richards was back for it. And it's lifted out of the zone by Mike Richards. So now Ness off the boards and down. And this will be an icing.
Ness was hoping he could bounce it off of Kyle Oposto's stick, but this is just good hard work. We talk about the strength of Kopitar again. There's Colin. There's Travis Hamonic. You can see that puck just goes off the pad of Poulin on a sharp angle shot. But again, Poulin was never able to square himself to the shooter. And you know, you leave a couple of openings when you don't square yourself on those bad angle shots.
Poulin steers that attempt by Colin Fraser out of play. So we'll step out. 13-13, a Munsters remaining in the third period. The Islanders up 2-1 here in the third period. And a Saturday night on MSG +2. The Islanders take on the Red Wings. Live coverage gets underway at 6:30 with Visa Islanders Game Night. Islanders Red Wings Saturday night on MSG +2. So check MSG.com for local channel listings. And the schedule maker has helped the Islanders a little bit in that the Red Wings will be home tomorrow night to the Washington Capitals, and then have to fly in here and play the Islanders on Saturday, where the Islanders will be well rested as they will be off tomorrow night.
And you talk about two different teams, and you're talking about the Kings and the Red Wings. Red Wings very much a finesse hockey club. There's a couple of superstars in Datsuk and Zetterberg.
Speaking of superstars, the one who's missing in the NHL right now, Steven Stamkos, is certainly being picked up by his teammates. Tampa Bay, their first game without him, they beat the Canadiens 2-1. And tonight they are leading Anaheim 4-0 in the second period. Kopitar throws one towards the net. McDonald got into a tussle with Williams just to try to gain control of the puck. But how about that? No Stamkos, and they're up on the Ducks. And they may not have the official name anymore, but lately the Ducks have in fact been mighty.
Oh yeah, they have been very good.
That's a 15-4-1.
Tells you something a little bit about the depth of the Tampa Bay Hockey Club. And when you lose a superstar, you can still find ways to win games.
Here's Richards, nice feed to Fretton, a save by Poulin, and the rebound swept out of the zone.
Well, the Islanders really have to tighten up their defensive play because it has not been very good in these first 8 minutes. I mean, the Kings are having some real good opportunities, coming to the net with all kinds of speed, and they're playing really aggressive. You have to look for that fourth guy joining the play because the King defensemen have been up the ice this whole third period.
Well, you know, Butch, the Islanders were helped by the TV timeout a couple of minutes ago, but as they're not too close to that zone just yet, if this stuff continues on the next shift or two, Jack Capuano may in fact think about taking that timeout.
I mentioned that earlier on after the first couple of shifts because for me, I don't like what's going on right now. The Islanders don't seem to have the same giddy up and go. Now, yes, the Kings are pushing a little bit harder, but they're getting outworked a little bit. Kings are coming through with an awful lot of speed.
Harris line is coming on now. John with a Poso. And now Brock Nelson hops on to join him. Pearson checked by a Poso. That turns it over, but it's brought in offside. Islanders don't think so, but offside the call.
Well, you notice in the first two periods what the Islanders did exceptionally well is, you know, when they didn't carry it in, they chipped it into areas where they could get it back, maybe where the far winger was coming with speed. The last 3 or 4 times, they've just chipped it in aimlessly. A couple of times right at the goaltender, a couple of times just inside the blue line. And that, the big thing about what happens there, Howie, is that the defense don't get a chance to close their gap. They get lagged behind, and then the Kings have a lot more room to be able to get up the ice.
10:53 remaining, third period. 2-1 New York. Tavares forced back towards the line aggressively by Regier, but Poso winds up with a puck. Poso against Vey. Swings it back for Nelson. He took a hit, barely legal, from Regier on a couple of different levels.
They used the stick and look at cross-checking.
Vey waiting as his team is changing. Leaves it in the corner for Pearson, who fires it to the front of the net, but Tavares was back. And now Doughty against Tavares. Lugs it in. Drew Doughty centers, driving to the net was Lewis. He was being ridden by McDonald.
Lewis was careful not to run into the goaltender, stayed wide of the post.
This is Lewis, number 22. McDonald without a stick. Lewis shot it wide. Doughty trying to protect the fluttering puck, does. Nolan to Doughty, and that missed the net. And again, the Kings getting pressured.
Yeah, they need to have a little bit of conversation on the ice about who's got who, because they're really going to the same man on a couple of different occasions.
9:46 remaining in the third. Tavares wants the red line for a dump and a change. And now Clutterbuck. Razor around the boards. Muzzin. Didn't clear. Hamonic kept it in. Islanders go to work. Cizikas put it right on the line. Muzzin chased by Grabner. Grabner finds it. Fed it towards the boards, but Lewis got to it before Colin McDonald. Now the crowd trying to reinvigorate the Islanders.
Well, the Islanders getting some quality ozone time again. All started.
Islanders getting a penalty.
Yeah.
Sorry, Butch. Islanders getting a penalty here.
I'm sure if it's the Islanders or the Kings.
Well, for the sake of Ben Scrivens, it had better be the Kings because he was on his way to the bench.
Yeah, looks like Colin McDonald.
9:10 remaining, third period. Kings power play coming up. Coming up, the Foxwoods Final Five of Foxwoods, your destination for endless excitement. Islanders now forced to go to the penalty kill. Colin McDonald off for a check to the head, and Lewis has been a target tonight.
Yeah, this is a good call, too, as Colin McDonald hits him with his shoulder right on the head of Lewis. And again, watching your passes is a sure way to really get hurt. Don't ever watch your passes. Be aware of what's going on around you, but that's the right call. Definitely hit him in the head with his shoulder.
Kings have controlled the faceoffs 30-19 tonight, although Nielsen now makes it 30-20. Los Angeles 0 for 2 on the power play with 3 shots. So they'll try to set it up, and Hamonic's got the puck. Now in a crowd in the corner. Kopitar trying to control it. He does, but he gave it away to Grabner. And Michael Grabner just floats it down.
Yeah, if you win the faceoff, you should be able to get it out. Travis Hamonic had the puck, but didn't have really any time and space, so you're not going to be able to get it out winning the faceoff. Kind of defeats the purpose, Howie.
Dangerous pass by Doughty, but on comes Richards. His shot went off of McDonald. Richards gets it again. Now to Williams. He feeds the blue line. Doughty by himself there. Now Williams back to get it from him. And to Kopitar. They've got Brown in front of the net. Richards fakes the shot. Cizikas stays with him, keeps the heat on. Williams joins the party with Hamonic, but it's pried loose to Doughty. Thought about a pass to Kopitar, instead goes to Richards. The drive swallowed up by Poulin.
Yeah, nice save by Poulin. Just had good position. He was a little bit deep in the crease. That shot from Richards. Dustin Brown all over him in the front of the net. There's the slap shot. It's a knuckleball, but look at where Dustin Brown is. I mean, you talk about being on the top of the crease and then jumping in the air. That's almost interference as he lands inside the crease. Referee has to keep an awful close look on what's going on in front of that net.
So 59 seconds remain to the Kings power play. The Islanders have done this much. They've gotten the Kopitar line off as the Kings have their second power play unit on now.
Good face-off win for the Islanders as all 4 guys converged on the puck. A lot of times it's not all about the centerman winning the face-off. It's everybody else that's on the ice.
In comes Vey. Puts on the brakes against Nielsen. Voinov feeds it, and a save by Poulin. He can't hold on, and it trickles in. And the Kings have tied it. It looked to have been Pearson to take the shot, and I don't think anybody else touched it on the way in. They may have to go upstairs and look. It appeared that after the puck went off of Poulin, it just slithered over the line, and if it did, that'll be Pearson's first in the National Hockey League and tie the game 2-2 on the power play.
The referee had an awful good look at it. Again, Vey gets a nice pass to Pearson, a quick wrist shot. It deflects off a Cartner's skate, and it looks like it goes completely over. It has to go completely over the goal line. You can see it now sliding through. Poulin trying to reach for it. Does he get it in time? Doesn't look like he gets it in time. The overhead shot will short. Probably best of all. That's going to be close. That's going to be really close when you look at that. But they're not even reviewing it. But you have
now,
goes. Yeah.
Somebody from Toronto called and said, "Whoa, Nelly, let's get a look at this."
Yeah, and they should take a look at it because of the different views. Now the referee did call it a goal, and it did look like it might have went over, but again, they got some different camera angles. They'll take a good hard look. But for Pearson,
sweat it out, kid. We've already seen one first NHL goal tonight.
Yeah, that would be his first. Then his first game up here in the regular season.
You know, it looked like a goal to the naked eye, and the Islanders didn't put up much of an argument. They went right to center ice. See, I think that puck's totally over the line.
And certainly the referee has an awful good look at it. And Walsh has a pretty solid look. He calls it a goal right away.
You know, if the Islanders were complaining about it, it wasn't very demonstrative because they were all ready for the ensuing face-off, and nobody on the bench was, at least not to our recognition anyway, yelling and screaming or waving anything to implore a look. And
they didn't have much of an angle, mind you, so it would be tough for them to complain. Referee had a lot better look.
Yeah, I think that's all the way over.
But that's certainly, but again, you know, can't see it clearly from here.
But the call on the ice was goal, and that's what they always use as the determining factor if they can't see enough to necessarily overrule it. Let's hear it.
After review, the puck crossed the goal line. It's a good goal.
And so that confirms Pearson's first in the National Hockey League from Voinov and Vey at 12:15. And this game is even 2-2. So, you know what Scott Boggs wrote on Aaron Ness's puck? Well, the equipment manager for the LA Kings is doing pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, and it's Tanner Pearson now is a very happy individual, at least for now.
I don't think Jack Capuano is, though.
No, not
this third period.
Not at all. I mean, they played such a good, strong first 40 minutes, but this period has not been a good period for them up to this point in time. The Kings have just flexed their muscle, Howie, plain and simple. They came out with a lot more determination than they had in the first two periods, and the Islanders have not been able to handle them.
And Tavares has a pass picked off. Kings move up quickly. Fratton and on the right wing pulls up. Los Angeles changing, so he held it as long as he could, but then he gave it away. And now Brock Nelson to the red line. Didn't get it all the way in because Muzzin knocked it down.
And that's what I'm talking about, Howie, with their clearing plays and chipping it in. Don't allow the defenseman to get up. Just got to do a much better job in that area.
Cizikas put a move on Muzzin. Races down the right wing. Kopitar back to angle him and ride him in. And as a bonus for the Kings, take the puck. Good play by Andrzej Kopitar. Now Doughty hustles to the Islander blue line and sends it in. And now it's Brown putting the hit on Hickey. Cizikas for Clutterbuck. He brings it in on left wing. Muzzin knows Clutterbuck's coming, so he turns crisply away. And then it's wound around to the far side where Doughty takes over again.
Muzzin, another one of those guys that's big, 6'3". Played his junior hockey in Sault Ste. Marie of the OHL. Very young guy.
Fraser threw it past everyone into the corner where it was overskated by Nolan, and up comes Frans Nielsen. Into the LA zone, shot it off the leg of Martinez, the defenseman. Nielsen got it back and has it again in the corner. Now for Bouchard. Worked over by Martinez. Fraser in there too. And time ticking away with no one controlling the puck. So it's poked loose. And now Bailey tangles up his man. And the puck sits untouched in the corner until Mitchell could get there. Hamonic breaks his stick. And McDonald in the Islanders zone. 5:21 to go. Third period tied at 2. Now Pearson unable to hold the puck. And Kartner fires one in. Shots are 25-21 Islanders. They outshot the Kings 15-5 in the second period. Well, the Kings have had a far stronger third period, scoring the tying goals. Shot the Islanders 6-3, which is nothing outrageous, but they have had the better territorial edge.
Well, you talk about ozone time. The Islanders have not spent a lot of time in the Kings' offensive zone, or defensive zone, excuse me.
That one thrown at Poulin's feet. Voinov a drive higher than that, and Poulin got his arm on it.
Yeah. Brock Nelson doesn't have a stick, so they're playing shorthanded.
They slips it down low. And a Poso pulled down, but the Kings keep the puck. They gave it up, though, to Kartner. Los Angeles looking to change.
Those are the Islanders.
And for a different reason. Not only personnel, but flow. They want to get a different sort of momentum building now. Something they had the entirety of the second period. And not much here in the third. Fratton against McDonald. Andrew McDonald gave him nothing, but the Kings keep the puck. Richards threw it towards the front of the net. Fratton gets to it. Now Fratton drifting back. Throws it in behind the net. Hamonic first to get it. Lost it, though. And then it's sent right out in front. Chipping away is Fratton. Takes it back and feeds Doughty. Drew Doughty. Now for King. Back to Doughty, throws it down low. Although the puck was elevated, it was low towards the front of the net for Fratton. He and Hamonic both wound up getting nicked with that. And Kopitar steers it back in. 3:16 to go in the third. Bouchard checked by Voinov. Williams got it free. Hickey recovers and clears. Islanders have not done much in this third period except get the puck out of their own end and watch the Kings move it right back up.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being established by the Kings, and they're able to carry the puck in. The Islanders have to make good first passes coming out of their zone, not just wrap it around the boards, because the King defense is looking to pinch each and every time.
Both coaches have their timeouts available. And Kopitar across. Dustin Brown turned away from Bailey. He got it back to Hickey. And now Bouchard with the Islanders changing. McDonald steps into Mitchell. And McDonald for the Islanders bounces it right back in. Mitchell. And now out at center, McDonald. Cross. And Hamonic feeds Grabner. He doesn't hold on. Kings turn it around quickly. In comes Lewis. Wide against McDonald. So he throws it in behind the net. Only Hamonic there. He steers it around and ultimately out to center with under 2 minutes to go in the third. Here's Grabner cutting and shooting. And he went wide.
Oh, and he had him too. All he had to do, that was interference. Should have been a penalty.
Nothing.
Nolan.
Now Hickey drops Tavares and he missed the net. And the Kings look to go the other way. Donovan, the lone defender, back. Racing back is Hickey. In comes to Foley. Good defensive play.
Donovan stretching out, was able to knock that puck off the stick.
But they score on a tip. It was thrown towards the net by Muzzin and redirected past a furious Poulin, who slams his stick on the crossbar, and the Kings have taken a 3-2 lead.
Well, this looks like it's Toffoli's goal, shot by Muslin, but Toffoli, both Toffoli and Pearson were in front of the net on that shot from the point. He had a couple of glorious opportunities. Muzzin just wrists it towards the net, and there it's deflected by Toffoli into the net. Look, he's got his head up, takes a little look, gets the shot towards the net, and there's the deflection through the legs of Hickey. No chance for Poulin. And the Kings have had an outstanding third period with just a minute and a half left, and they now lead 3-2.
So, it's the third of the year for Toffoli. You're watching the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods, your destination for endless excitement. Visit foxwoods.com now. The puck sent in by Regier. And recovered by Nielsen. He didn't hold on. Doughty plays it right back in. And now Poulin leaves it for McDonald. Ahead for Bouchard. Earmark Bouchard to Hamonic. Poulin starts towards the bench. He gets there. The Islander net is empty. They have an extra skater on as we reach the final minute of the third period. Bailey plays it in. Goes after Doughty. Regier around towards Richards, and he just lifts it out of the zone. McDonald has to come back to play it. McDonald to Bouchard. Moving towards the Kings line. Now to Bailey. He sends it towards the corner. Mitchell gets to it. He's checked by Bouchard. Kopitar in there as well against Bailey. Bailey got it loose. Tavares played it down low. Sent towards the line. Held in by Hamonic. Towards Tavares. Scrivens out. Gives it to Mitchell. He puts it around the boards. Off of Tavares. Recovered. And then Bailey missed the net. Puck carries to the far side. Hamonic around towards Tavares. Out in front. Comes back to the blue line. Oposo to Hamonic. He fires up high. Karam's hard around to the near side. McDonald to Oposo. Now to Hamonic. He shoots. Scrivens the save. He juggles. It's loose behind the net. And time runs out. And the Los Angeles Kings have stolen a game. The Islanders were in complete control going to the third period, leading 2-0. And then something happened. They dropped the puck to start the third period with the Islanders on a power play for a little less than a minute. The Kings on that first shift almost had a shorthanded goal as Poulin made a great save on a breakaway by Richards, and the Islanders accomplished very little throughout the rest of the period as the Kings stormed back to win 3-2.
Well, for me, Howie, it's just all about, there's a Stanley Cup team not all that long ago, and they just turned on the burners against the New York Islanders. They said, hey, let's go and push these guys for 20 minutes, get that first goal, give ourselves a chance, and they just stayed with it for the entire 20 minutes. I mean, you're right, Howie, the Islanders couldn't get out of their own way. They couldn't get out of their defensive zone. It was just an awesome display of hockey by the Kings in the third period.
And the Islanders try to get something going at the end, but Scrivens was able to get enough of that last shot so that all Tavares could do was try to make a desperation play. And in the end, The Kings in the third period scored early, midway, and late. The latter or the last from Toffoli. Muzzet and Bay assisted at 18:33. Kings win it 3-2. Back in a moment.